Hi, I'm Andrew Smith, Executive Director of Design at Cadillac, and this is the 2016 Escala concept. Cadillac design is about looking forward. All the great Cadillacs of the past look somewhat unlike the vehicles before them, and it's true of this vehicle as well. This is the third in our Pebble Beach trilogy series that began with the Ciel, was followed up by the El Mirage, and now with this vehicle, Escala. And you can see when you put the vehicles side by side that our DNA, our design, continues to evolve. At the front here you can see the new face of Cadillac, a reinterpretation of the vertical headlamps, but with a bit of a horizontal element to give it a little bit more aggression and a sinister feel, pushing the elements into the front of the vehicle and framing a somewhat familiar grille shape, but with a new technical precision pattern texture in the grille. So this vehicle was designed very much to debut at Pebble Beach. The brief was all about designing a future vision for Cadillac of a chauffeur-driven vehicle, but one that you would passionately want to drive yourself. So the idea of driving and being driven is really what set this whole concept in motion. Great Cadillacs have great proportions. This vehicle is long, it's low, and it's wide. It has a wonderful stance, and it sits comfortably on 22-inch wheels, which helps give the vehicle a sense of scale. The graphic surface treatment is quite simple, clean, but the surface itself is quite sophisticated, with a taper towards the rear of the car. One of my favorite elements on the exterior is this bright metal piece down low, so a piece of decoration that actually is functional. It runs from the fender to the door, but rather than cutting the piece, it's continuous. So as the door opens, it recedes into the body. Every detail on this vehicle is about confidence. So while we wanted to keep the vehicle very simple and clean to look at, each element was carefully considered before it was added to the vehicle. One of my favorite elements here is the belt that tapers towards the rear and grows to have more substance in the rear of the vehicle and really finishes the car off nicely. So here you can see the rear end of the vehicle. It's clearly a Cadillac. It retains the vertical lamp signature, but again, we've interpreted that a little differently this time. The lamps themselves incorporate both LEDs and OLED technology. The OLEDs themselves pointing both inwards and in a reference back to the 67 Eldorado. You'll also notice a very Cadillac-looking rear end, but very clean. We've kept the deck lid cut line horizontal rather than cutting down into the rear. And then we have a cargo floor that raises your luggage up so that as the liftgate opens, the cargo comes up with it. This vehicle is about a driving experience as well as being driven. Sitting in the front, the driver is exposed to a large curved OLED screen array that replaces the traditional cluster and center stack. It's also a very sporty interior, so largely using leather materials and aluminium. As you transition towards the rear of the vehicle, you'll see that it becomes a softer and more gentle experience with an extensive use of wool woven fabric, and also the transition of the metal becomes wood. We wanted the interior statement to be, like the exterior, a simple, clean and yet sophisticated statement, and the designers like to term the phrase, simple is hard. So here you see many different materials but blending together in a very sophisticated way. One of the first things you'll notice about the interior is the curved OLED screen array in front of the driver. It basically replaces a cluster and the center stack. It's artistically integrated into the interior, wrapped in leather and stitched and embossed, and sitting upon a wave of parquetry wood, which is in fact American walnut. The technology story in the rear is a little different. The technology is more covert rather than overt. Screens retract into the headrests and also into the armrest.